that complicates our whole discussion of text criticism, source criticism, redaction criticism, and so forth.
It's
Because we're
such a
not
big deal.
it is.
Yeah.
It's a big deal because we're
Yeah.
not dealing with one original text that then has this kind of genetic family tree that trickles down to some kind of multiformity. No, you start with the multiformity, and then the
Right.
tradition limits it further to come up with an authoritative text, eventually saying this is what we think the text should be. What we see as differences, would the ancients see that as different or the same? Because oral traditions allow for multiformity. The whole concept of what is the same and what is different is culturally determined.
But I was talking to a guy one time about this sort of thing, and he said something like, "Well, how can you believe anything is accurate at all in the Bible if they don't hold to our standards of exactitude?" That's ethnocentrism. To think that only our approach to truth can hold any kind of value. Like, it was true for them. It was true by our standards in some measures, but we can't measure their culture and their truth by our standards. If we're studying that, we need to step into their shoes and try to experience it from their perspective.
People who are very much involved in Dead Sea Scrolls are much more open to what we're doing in media studies because the material demands it. Text critics are increasingly open to that because the material demands it.
Yeah.
It's those of us who are still doing source and redaction criticism without being involved in these kinds of discussions. We might, well, I've had people say very clearly to me, well, the Hebrew Bible is so different than the Iliad and Gilgamesh and this, and so we have to study it on its own. Well, and there's a bit of truth to that. But
Sure.
once you've done that, then you miss the methodological innovations that are happening in other places that might actually bring some clarity to what it is we're doing.
Yes, we have to read the Hebrew Bible within the cultural realities of Israel. And when you read the text as if it's going to start with a solid original that slowly gets corrupted, what you're actually doing is bringing to that study our own culture of a typeset work done by a single author. That's how that works, and we can see that that's how that works.
Yeah.
We say we're just going to study them on their own terms, but what we're really doing is bringing our terms to the study.